This week on This Too Shall Pass, I don't think it's fair for anyone to judge how you react to trauma. The Keke Palmer one, though, I guess, hit me a little harder because physically looking at her, she's relatable to me. I don't know about you guys, but I had no idea who the fuck Darius Jackson was. Social media is not real. You didn't see her. You didn't see her in her couch crying. You didn't see her at her home alone. You saw what she allowed you to see. And I think that needs to be taken with a grain of salt. Not everyone wants to come on social media crying. And you gotta also know with a grain of salt, these women are still businesswomen and they're still getting their money. So no, she cannot show up on her McDonald's ad crying. Welcome to the This Too Shall Pass podcast. Trust me, I know life can be. This is an inclusive space for our stories and lessons to be heard and learned from without judgment, because this too shall pass. Hi babes, welcome back to This Too Shall Pass. Of course, my name is Ariel and I'm happy you are here. I want to say thank you to everyone that's leaving us comments and reviews and shout outs on YouTube, Instagram, and as well as on all streaming platforms where you can find our content. I want to say thank you for you guys because you don't have to take the time to sit with me and hear my thoughts, but I really do appreciate it and I like hearing from you guys as well. So if you want to leave me a personal comment or a question, the comment boxes are always there and we do appreciate you. Today, on this episode, we are going to go over victim shaming. It is out there, it is loud, it is more common, and that is what we're going to talk about today. But before we jump into it, I'm going to read one YouTube review. This one is from Terry Ellis. It's all connected, one word after the @ symbol. We all get it. She left a comment saying, "Your it's above me is where we as women all live. For me, it's when I am having my first baby at 32 and I'm currently single. Dating hasn't been going well. People/society is where the problem is. Don't do anything that will ultimately affect your peace. As always, love your podcast and your family, and your relationship with your kids is inspirational. Keep doing what you're doing. I will keep watching." Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And yes, I feel like society and people is where the issue is. I want a shirt that just says don't like people or hate people. It's not all people, but that's where a lot of our inner voices or our inner faults or criticism lies, is when we feel like we're not pleasing other people or other people have a comment about us or we're not included or inclusive in the setting that we're in. So I am big on being inclusive of people. I am big on telling your truth and being comfortable in the room you're in. You do have to read the room, but I appreciate that you're here. And I thank you for telling me to guard my peace, because I'm working on it. That's a big step that I'm doing with moving and trying to, find my own footing or routine. It's not easy, but I think there's beauty in the mundane. There's beauty in the process. And I'm happy that you guys give me the opportunity to share that with you. We're going to jump into her voice, her story first. And I'm doing a shout out to my bio mom. Her Instagram, I don't know why she has one. I want to pause for emphasis. I don't know why she has one, but she's not that old. She had me at 15. So 15 plus 32, you do the math. That's your homework. This is her Instagram, @thatnursenina. She spells Nina, Nini at the end. @thatnursenina, one word with the @ symbol. So you guys can find her. She is my biological mother. She gave me up for adoption. We will link the episode down in the Q notes where I talk more about it. But yeah, she's just become a solid bitch in my life. And I didn't think I would have that. Not saying I went into it with fear, but I definitely went into it with a lot of hesitation because I have a mom. I have a dad. Even though me and my parents are going through a rough patch right now, they are still my parents and I do still consider them as such. I've been with these people since I was a week old to 2 days ago when I moved out. So, it's a huge part of who I am. All of my childhood memories and birthday parties are with the family that raised me, even though they are my adoptive parents. I've never said that. I think it's kind of icky and distasteful. Kind of like if I adopted a child, I wouldn't say, oh, these are my 5 real kids and my 1 adopted one is here. I wouldn't say that. It's weird. I just went into my relationship with her just really off the inch of being curious. I wanted to see who she was, how she moved, her mannerism, why she gave me up. What is her life like now? Did she have any other kids? So I really went into my relationship with her just with a curious set of eyes, and a little bit of my heart was guarded because I didn't want to feel, upset. I had some good friends in my ear like, yo, Ariel, You have a good life right now. Do you sure you want to meet her? You don't know the devil you'll let in. You don't know what doors you're knocking on. And she could be a crackhead. So I was a little concerned. I was a little, hesitant, but I still did it. I went into it with a curious heart, a curious mind, and she has become very solid to me. I feel like all my quirkiness, the way I think and process things, my tone, my mannerism, my loud voice, how I speak, how I move in a room, a lot of that is from her. It's definitely nature versus nurture. I was nurtured a certain way, but sometimes nature prevails, and a lot of that I see in her. She showed me some pictures when she was pregnant, not just with me, but pregnant with her other children, and me pregnant with Owen and her last pregnancy with my brother are almost identical. It's crazy. How much physical similarity I've also found in her, because even though I did not know I was adopted, I definitely knew that my skin color was not the same as my brother's. I definitely knew that we didn't have a lot of facial features the same. I didn't call it out a lot because a lot of the time black is black and not everyone looks the same in the room anyways. But did I notice it? Absolutely. Did I wonder about it? Absolutely. Did I question my parents about it? Absolutely. But I was just told God makes everyone different, Ariel, which is true, laced with adoption. The adoption part was left out. So I just wanted to do a shout out to her just with love and appreciation. And she's just been really consistent. And she's consistent even when we do nothing. Like, hey, I'm off work this Friday. Can I come over and bring a box of pizza and some wine? Random. She doesn't always set a date, but she does always try to include me, and I appreciate it. She's helped me in my move to my new place. She's been gentle and patient with my kids. She was not overbearing or made them love her. She's okay if they, don't talk to her for gaps of time or don't reach out, because she knows just as much as it is new for me, it is very new for them. And I feel like everyone's processing everything differently. But with time and consistency, they love her. She's cool. She's consistent. And she's only 15 years younger than me, so she still can hang. And I love that about her. So I just wanted to do a shout out just for love and appreciation. And a lot of people have asked me like, oh, are you mad at your bio mom for giving you up for adoption? Do you think she only kept her other kid? None of that really matters to me, because I don't hate who I am. I don't hate the life that I have. So I do know that if I would have stayed with her, was raised with her, my life would be completely different. Even down to the simple fact that she's a completely different religion than me. I wouldn't have known, my religion and my walk. I don't know if it would have affected my testimony or how I process the world. I damn sure wouldn't have been to any of the same schools. I probably wouldn't have my children. And a lot of my childhood, like 95% of it, I loved. And I loved my friends, and I loved my neighborhoods, and I love my parents, and I love how I've lived. So I would never say that I hate her because I didn't have a rough life. Now, I probably could say that with a different tongue or a different token if, I had spent 18 years in foster care, or I was left out of things, or I was belittled and never adopted, and I rotted in the system while you had 3 other kids that you raised, but she didn't. She took her time on where she placed me, and I'm grateful for that. And she kept her other kids because she had the damn right to. And it was 5.5 to 6 years later, and she got to grow and become an adult. There's a huge difference mentally in a 15-year-old and a 21-year-old. You might not think so, but there's a huge difference. And I think she made the best choice for her at the time in the situation she had, and it gave me a good outcome. So I love you. I'm grateful for you. And I appreciate you and our friendship that we have. So again, back to our topic for this episode. It is victim shaming. I would like to know in the comments how you feel about it. If you've ever been impacted, have you ever just encountered it? Maybe it didn't really, concern you or involve you, but it made you feel an icky kind of way. Or maybe you agreed with the victim shaming and that, you should have said something sooner, or you shouldn't have said nothing at all. I really want to know where your mindset is and your mind frame is on that topic. And if it's ever happened to you, it can be anonymous. You don't have to give all your details, but I like to know where you stand. We are going to bring up this topic because it is big right now. Social media, everyone's talking about it. The biggest victim shaming and not speaking up things that I can bring up is Keke Palmer and Darius Jackson, as well as Cassie and Diddy. What are your opinions? What's the tea? What do you think is going on? Do you think it's weird that Diddy paid all that money? Literally, I saw the post in the morning, then I saw it again at night, and it was settled. It was over. Do you guys think when someone pays quickly, it's just to shut the other person up? Or do you think it's just amicable is what they said. And we just came to an agreement after I said you raped me. We're good. It's copacetic. Or do you think, in the United States, anything that happens in the court of public law is up to be viewed by society, by the people? That's why all the courtrooms say we the people. Did he not want we the people to read what really went on in detail in whatever gory fashion it would have been told? Witnesses would have been called. A whole trial probably would have happened. Or do you think paying out your money is like a way to quickly settle it and keep your dirt a secret? And if so, does that open up other people to be victims? Because now no one knows the truth. So other people walk into relationships with you blind. Do you think Cassie was wrong for staying quiet all those years and not really saying anything? I am proud of her because she is definitely going up on my vision board, for that whole, what do people say? One's man trash is another man's treasure. She is like, I think her picture is next to that because the epitome of that is her. Like, she had a huge public relationship with Diddy. I'm not saying when I saw their relationship, I instantly thought something was wrong, but I do know they never got married. I do know she didn't get kids. I do know that at the end of it, she didn't look physically happy. I can't speak for her mindset because I'm not fortunate enough to know her, but I can say now her pictures and her content on her social media are 360 degrees of a difference. Like, she's no longer, just posted up in sexy clothing, in a club and she's also grown. So we got to give her that. But the family content is different. The birthday parties, the silly hats, the in the couch, the with the husband, the wedding, it's just grounded. It seems safe. And again, that's just my opinion looking from the outside. I could be completely wrong because social media is not real. It's not real. You got to take everything with a grain of salt and believe 50% of it. And I guess try to figure out the other half because they're famous and we can only read the blogs to figure out really what's going on. But yeah, I'd like to know, what side of the table are you on? Which side of the fence are you on? Are you riding it down the middle? How do you feel about victim shaming? And the whole Keke Palmer thing instantly brought me to tears. I think only because hers affected me more than the Cassie one, not saying that she's not credible or legitimate and her story does not deserve weight and value and deserve to be yelled from the rooftop. Because when someone's hurt and it gets to be hidden up really quickly, I don't know if healing is really there. And I have a feeling in my gut, if she was given the opportunity to tell her story, she probably would. And I think there's a lot of power in using your voice to tell your story. The Keke Palmer thing, I know for damn sure her mom is not wrong for cussing him out. I read that text message and the grandma was right on the head with that one. She deserved to cuss him out. That's my opinion. The Keke Palmer one, though, I guess, hit me a little harder because physically looking at her, she's relatable to me. Our ages are similar. How she looks is similar. The color of her skin is similar. Her being a young mom is similar. Her getting in a new relationship after, being alone for so long, or not even alone, just not publicly out in a relationship. And it looks like I was proud of them for a while. And then all these things started coming out. And then it just seemed like he was really controlling, again, from what I saw on my end of my phone. And then hers had like pictures and videos like of him. I don't know if he was in her house or coming in her house. That made it very real to me. That's similar to how my trial will be. They will show videos and pictures of someone in your home. So hers stung me in a place that Cassie's did not. Again, Cassie's is still credible and legitimate and deserves weight. But the Keke Palmer one, just for relatability on how she looks, really hit me hard. She's still getting victim shamed and dragged. And I don't know about you guys, but I had no idea who the fuck Darius Jackson was until he showed up with Keke Palmer. I had no idea who he was. I think I knew who his older brother was because I watched Issa Rae's show, Insecure. But that I didn't even know they were brothers until the Shade Room laid them all together. And then I had like an aha moment on my couch, on my phone, because I didn't even put them in the same gene pool, nonetheless the same crib. Like, I didn't even know they were related. I don't think it's fair for anyone to judge how you react to trauma. And you got to also know, with a grain of salt, these women are still businesswomen and they're still getting their money. So no, she cannot show up on her McDonald's ad crying. She can't. She still has to come business professional. And that's why I pointed at the camera and told y'all, social media is not real. Just because you saw her and you didn't see her. You saw what she posted for you to see. You didn't see her. You didn't see her in her couch crying. You didn't see her at her home alone. You saw what she allowed you to see. And I think that needs to be taken with a grain of salt. Not everyone wants to come on social media crying, and it doesn't mean that something's not going on in their home. So the internet, to me, can shut the hell up on that topic because it's off base. No one saw anyone. You saw what that person allowed you to see. You saw 60 seconds of that person's life and you assumed they were happy. That guilt falls on you. It doesn't fall on the other person. There are 24 hours in the day. So you're telling me because she posted a 60-second clip, she's happy? You saw a minute of her life and you got to assume how the rest of her day played out. And maybe that's why people don't come out, because when they do, you shame them that it's too late. Or even if they come early, because Keke Palmer's to me is not late. That baby is not even a year old. This is not late for her to say something or for her to get a restraining order. This is not late. And you still blame her because she smiled on social media for jobs I'm sure she already had booked before that baby was born. That's not fair. That's not right. So I know for little people like me, and I say little like meaning that I'm normal. I have not been on TV all my life. I have not, been on all these shows and have all this, extra stuff. I'm not famous. For me, I got victim shamed and I'm nobody compared to them. Their social stratosphere is way outside of mine, and I still got blamed. I got blamed for going back and having Owen. I got blamed for not calling the police the first 2 times that he hit me, and just the last one that was big and massive. And, I must have done it for financial gain. There was no financial currency gained in this situation at all. I just think it's wrong. And I don't understand how people feel so confident behind the internet to say such hateful comments. But I'm sure, God forbid, if both of these women, took their life or ended their kids, y'all would still say something about that. Then y'all would say, oh, RIP. But y'all the same people that were just talking shit about them last week that they should have came out sooner. I think no one has the right to tell you when to tell your truth, because just like you didn't get to choose when they hit you, sometimes you don't get to choose when you tell the truth either. Maybe people do it when they've moved, when they feel confident again, when they gotten, their finances back in order. Everybody don't want to show up on Instagram at their bottom, especially when their bottom is not normal. Like Cassie was up a long time. Keke's been up a long time. They don't want to come to y'all at their bottom probably. And they probably think like everyone else that it's none of your damn business. So I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's right. I think if you don't agree with it, cool, maybe keep it to yourself. But to post things that these women should have came out sooner to please you, clearly they still came out soon enough for the courts. They're still processing the case. Sure, they came out soon enough for everyone else who's involved legally, because then it would be discarded. There are time restraints and loopholes in our legal justice system for that reason. If they fell in line and their paperwork is processed and pushed through by the courts, then an Instagram comment wouldn't mean nothing to me, because I fell within my timeline. I did what I needed to do. They hired legal teams. I just feel like you guys wouldn't be happy unless a person like actively showed them getting beat, because you don't know when it happened. And the Keke Palmer thing hit so quick, I was shocked. So I wouldn't say it was late. And for Cassie, the things that were written on there, I mean, I don't blame her taking her time, but she was like raped and all kinds of things and hurt and assaulted. And it said for years, there is a thing called Stockholm Syndrome. There is a thing where people, try to make do with where they're at. I don't know where she came from or how her childhood was, but people can only act on how they've seen other people act, especially people that's raised them. You don't know if her whole family at home was depending on her money that she got from Diddy to pay the bills. You have no idea. Maybe her telling her truth would have fucked up her whole family at home. People's jobs and income matter. And sometimes it does matter more than our livelihood when we've been taught to not be selfish, or that being selfish is a bad thing. This whole have the soft girl life and self-love and stand up for yourself, love yourself. This is like a new phase that everyone's in. Nobody was talking about love yourself when I was growing up. No one was talking about speak your truth when I was coming up, or, stand on your own, or I didn't hear none of that. All you saw was people in relationships, and we all made an assumption they were happy. Now that we have social media, we all scroll and look at people in a relationship and we just assume they're happy. So when they say they're not, or they pull the wool from over your eyes, you have the nerve to feel shocked and you weren't there. So I think victim shaming is just a new form of bullying. I don't think it's going to go away. And I know you can be victim shamed for way more, not just, relationships or boy girl instances of abuse. It can happen in all facets of life. And I think it's crap. I think the only one that should be able to shame you, unfortunately, is yourself, because we go through there's a lot of shame on our own end. Like, people be proud of me. Oh my God, you're doing so good with your kids. And I cry myself to sleep hoping that I did it right today. I think people fight their own demons in their head just to keep their heads above water. You don't know how someone's day was. That's why I try to start these episodes by asking, how are you? Because when I was at my worst or I felt invisible, I just wanted someone to say, how you doing? How you been? People just think because you're living that you're happy. And I don't understand that. Being alive is like the bare minimum of life. It does not mean you're successful. It does not mean you're happy. It does not mean you're whole. So I want to know your thoughts and comments. Whether you agree with me or not, I still want to hear them, because I'm not saying I will change my mind, but I would love to hear how you think of it, because how you process things, again, is a product of your environment and how you were raised and what you've interacted with. That's why everyone's opinion is different. Forgiveness on the situation, in the long term, we all kind of have to get there. And I'm not saying have to, like you have to forgive everything, but forgiveness is a big part of life. And if I'm honest, I'm not the best forgiver of the forgiveness. I don't think it's not easy for me to get there. It's something I can do with time and I have to practice it, but it is not something that comes second nature to me. I'm just getting over hating my first baby daddy, and our kid's almost 16. And I'm just now able to be in a room with him without wanting to burn the place down. And I'm still actively forgiving my parents. I'm still actively, trying to get over the fact that no one did tell me I'm adopted. I'm still actively trying to forgive my ex, and now I'm getting dragged into trial. So it's not something easy. I definitely think forgiveness is an action word. I definitely do think it takes time. I think it definitely involves therapy and speaking. I don't think it's something you can do alone in your closet. I definitely think it's something you got to pray out loud, to whoever your gods are or who you believe in out loud. Take an extra step to get therapy, and then at least close that door with a happy heart. I think that's what forgiveness is. You can still forgive someone and not let that person in your everyday life anymore. Forgiveness does not have to mean you guys go back to how you were 10 years ago. Because if 10 years has passed, then a lot has changed. You've changed, that person has changed, the situation has changed, and it's okay to love from a distance. And that's something that I'm hard with my kids on. It's okay to love someone and not want them in your everyday life. It's called a boundary. It's something that also was not taught when I was growing up. I didn't hear shit about boundaries until I got in my 20s. I didn't know what it was. I know boundaries on the road when you're driving, don't cross over here, but I didn't know how to relate it to me as a person. And I didn't even know what my boundaries were. I just knew I liked certain things and I didn't like certain things and I didn't like certain people, but I didn't know vocab-wise that broke down as a personal boundary. And I think everyone's boundaries should be respected and at least heard out loud, because without them, people will cross them, take advantage of you, or hurt you and not even know they did it because you didn't tell them your boundaries or you didn't make things very clear from the beginning. And that also is a learned process. But yeah, forgiveness is something I'm still working on. The only time I can say that I've probably actually forgiven someone is Haley's dad, and that even took time. We went to mediation through the courts for a long time, and it wasn't even, and a lot of people think, oh, if you forgive your ex, or you get on good terms with your ex, oh, you still want them back. That's not it. That couldn't be further from the truth. I just know that he's grown since we were kids. He's never called me out of my name. He's never put me in a dangerous situation physically. And he's apologized for how he's hurt me. He's come aware and open-hearted when I do tell him, hey, I don't want to talk right now. Hey, I have a lot going on. He doesn't overstep my boundaries. He doesn't keep calling. He checks in and he allows me to check back in with him about Haley when I feel like it, when it's most convenient for me. He's considerate on knowing that our lives are completely different. I don't have a spouse like you, and I don't, work for the military and have free housing. Our needs and lives for the basic of our life are completely different. And he's not ignorant enough to say, oh, well, I give you child support, so you should be fine. He doesn't do those things. But again, it took time to get there. I had to tell him what he was saying and doing that hurt me. He had to say it to me, and we had to choose to forgive each other for the sake of Haley and kind of move on. I can't say that I don't carry any weight when it comes to him, and that's a good feeling. I want to get there with my first and my last, but I'm not there yet. I want to get there with my parents, but I'm not there yet. So I do think that forgiveness is a process. It has to be a process that you're aware of and that you move in with good intentions. I'd love to know if you guys are actively trying to get over a situation of forgiveness, because it doesn't mean, again, that you have to have that person back in your heart, but it just means that you can close the door with no hatred. I think forgiveness doesn't involve hatred, so I'd like to know where you stand on that, and maybe what was the hardest thing for you to forgive or to get over in the meantime. And I don't think forgiveness has a time limit. I don't think it's fair for anyone to rush you and say, oh, you should be over that by now. It's been 6 months. Or, oh, you should be over it by now. It's been a year. I don't think anyone else can put a time frame on your forgiveness or how long it takes you to process something. There shouldn't be any expectations with forgiveness at all.
So without judgment, do you ever think about how different or better life could be if you didn't become a mom?
Yes. And
Without
I think
guilt?
it would be selfish not to consider that. When you become a mom, you don't lose yourself. I still remember who I was, and I am still Ariel outside of being a mom. And I still know that I have to figure out who Ariel is, because these little people that literally control your whole life grow up and move on and move out. And then what? You're left with yourself, or you're left with your spouse, or you're left with your cat, and you got to figure out how your life is going to continue, because that's why I say you can't live through your kids. That's why I say you can't, feed your soul off them, because they deserve to be their own independent person and move on. So that means that I have to figure out that as well. Comparing the two is something I do often, not with malice though, or regret. I do it in comparison, like, damn, if I only had one kid, like the way I could be moving is crazy. If I only had one 16-year-old, I would be in the streets. I wouldn't be like living my best life. We would go on vacation more. Do I think that there wouldn't be trials and tribulations? No, I'm not saying that. But I do know that more of my money would be spent in different ways.
We'd be rich.
What Carla said. Kids are a lot of money, and people that tell you they're not are lying to you. Kids are a lot of responsibility, a lot of time, a lot of finances, a lot of love and consistency. I have to keep my 3-year-old alive every day because he does shit that'll take him out. When I saw him lick his finger and try to touch the socket, I didn't know if he still wanted to be here with me. And all I did in the meantime was try to use the bathroom. And he tried to take himself out. I saw him try to brush his teeth with a fork. Kids are not easy. And they are not here for you. They don't care about your happy, your sad, your down days. Kids are living for them. And I just think, like, the Bible talks a lot about children. Be more like children to get into heaven. Be more like children in forgiveness. Be more like children, how they don't see each other's differences and they're just happy to be here. I think God really gives you kids to humble you, to change you, to push you in different directions, because my kids have pushed the hell out of me. I don't know if I'd be as driven without kids. I know I wouldn't be homeless. But I don't know if I'd be like so hungry and so fast without kids, because they damn sure light a fire under your ass to get shit going, because it's not just about you. But without kids, yeah, my life would be completely different. And I'd be sitting here lying, and any mom will be lying if she tells you she never thought about it. Especially in the beginning, when your vagina's ripped open and have stitches, blood coming out one end, milk coming out your boobs. You're crazy if you didn't think, 9 months ago you were a different bitch. You're crazy if you didn't think that. You still have a brain. You still are a person. We just have to figure out who that new person is and how we're going to live our life when they grow up, because it's going to happen.
Do holidays excite you or stress you out? She says, I don't like how it makes me feel, although she loves the decor. So how do you feel about these holidays coming up?
I feel the same way. I love the decor. Love the lights. Love the banisters. Love the tree. It stresses us out because we don't have a village. It stresses us out because we don't have help. So when you're already stressed out juggling life, and then you have to juggle life times 2 in December, because like I said in my moving podcast, kids don't give a shit that you moved. Proud of you, bitch. You got us a roof and a house, but I still want that Barbie set under the tree. And even if I don't get it, I'm going to bring it up. And I might cry to myself in my corner. And then there comes the mom guilt. There comes the more shame and the regret. So I think the feeling of anxiety and no help and loneliness, that triggers the despair on the holidays. It's because we know how we were treated growing up. Maybe you want to do better or worse for your kids. Like maybe you got more for Christmas and you're trying to humble your kids, so you'll downgrade. Or maybe you always had a good Christmas, so you want to at least make sure your kids had what you had. I think we all want better for our kids, but when better is out of your financial reach and there's no village, there's the disparity. just a quick shout out and a tidbit. I don't know when you guys are going to see this, but even mark your calendars for next year. Toys for Tots always does something for kids. Look for it in your community. They're in all 50 states. Register your kids, your age, what you need or what you would like, and they'll at least help you with something. It is not going to be a PlayStation 5. It's not. But it will be something that your little ones can unwrap that is brand new that you didn't have to purchase. But no, holidays stress me the fuck out. I have 5 kids, and they looked at me like I was a panhandler when I told them, can we do 8 or less this year?
8 gifts each?
8 gifts each. 8 gifts each. And the first one on my 16-year-old list was a PlayStation 5. So that's $500 for line item 1. 5 times 8, again, you do the math. That's what they expect me to do. And I got to wrap it and still set it all up. And they want it to still be color coordinated, and they want the bows and the matching. So maybe, it's going to sound real bad, and maybe this shouldn't be on this episode, but maybe, start off with less in the beginning. So that then they're not like bougie and expecting the world at the end, because it is easy to go overboard for a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-year-old because their stuff is cheap. And it comes with all kinds of stuff, and it's colorful, and they care. When that 16-year-old just wants 4 things, and them 4 things equal $2,000, it made me look at him differently. I almost told him to get a job when he slid me that list, because it was a PlayStation, it was 2 new Jordans, then he said clothes, and in parentheses wrote 6 outfits. He's in the men's section in a 42 wide jean and said 6 outfits. That's 6 pair of pants, not including 6 tops and 6 underwear. And he wrote it to me like I sell drugs, and I don't. So yes, the Christmas is hard, because you still want to do the best for your kids. And sometimes kids don't understand what they're going through, again, because we shelter them. We hold our feelings in and we don't tell them. I have become better with my kids. I don't want to scare them and make them think that we're going to be on the corner of the road, like shaking a panhandle cup. But I do let them know, hey, this is how much came in. This is how much is going out for the bare necessities. And this is what's left. So with what's left, we need to make smart choices with, because next month is a new month. I never want to set the example that this is easy. I want to always let my sons and my daughters know that this is not normal to raise all of these kids by yourself as one person. You need to be careful who you have unprotected sex with. You need to be consistent in the kids that you bring on this earth, because you do play a role in it. I don't like when men say, again with the victim shaming, oh, she chose to have that baby. No, you chose to have unprotected sex. That's where it came from. She didn't pray against you and in your seed appeared. We are not Mary from the Bible. We're not. You actively had more than once, because I hate when they say, oh, I only did it once. No, you didn't. You had active, unprotected sex with this girl, and now she raises your baby alone, but now she's a leech. But you left her with your kid. And then I love when they like to say you're crazy. Why would you leave your baby with a crazy girl to live their life? You didn't want to go pick up that baby? So I make sure that my kids know that what I am doing is a blessing, and I'm very fortunate, and that what I'm doing is not normal. I'm going to make it feel normal for them, because I don't want them to be scarred. But we definitely talk about active roles of men and women in relationships. It doesn't have to be, women only do the dishes and men only take out the trash. No, it should overlap. It should be a team. We should all be working together. Sometimes my boys wash the dishes, then my girls take out the trash. Then I flip it back. Then we'll all only do the living room. Then we'll all do all the bathrooms, because everyone needs to play a role. Everyone needs to be seen, heard, and feel important. And everyone, if you have a child, needs to play an active role in that baby's life. And that is more than Saturday and Sunday. I am sorry if the holidays stress you out, because that is proof that you have no village. But hopefully hearing my voice, you know that you're not alone. Maybe we can all get like all the moms on a FaceTime. We can rap together. It's going to be a sad, long night with scotch tape. The scotch tape is already gone to Target next to my house. I got to find some more scotch tape and some wrapping paper. But no, the holidays stress me out. I'm happy when they're over, but it's stressful with no village. But hopefully we can build a village and a community here. Hopefully this is somewhere where you can feel safe. Please call the voicemail line if you get the opportunity to, and leave us a voicemail. You can always text. You can leave a comment or a 5-star review. And we love having you here. My it's above me moment is making friends in adulthood. This is something I struggle with. That's why I said it's above me. How do you make friends when you don't have a routine? When this week and next week look completely different. One week I'm here all the time, and the next week I'm never here. One week I'm sad, one week I'm happy. One day I lived over here, one day we're moving. Adulthood feels very inconsistent. I feel like childhood, whether it was good or bad, usually it was consistent. You can stick to some routine. And I think that's why they say, you know, children do good with routine. No, I think humans do good on routine. Humans flourish well when they can expect what's coming the next day. No one wants to always be surprised. So I don't know how I make friends. I don't even know where I meet them. I do go to church, and I have met some people from church, but I don't consider them friends, if that makes sense. Like, I don't have their cell phone number. I don't call them for lunch. I just know what pews they sit next to, and we wave each other when the pastor says, turn around, hug your neighbor. That's what I did.
Oh my God, I hide.
You hide?
Yes, I hate when they say like high five three people
Yeah,
around
stand up
you.
if you're new.
I
High five
sit.
them and hug your neighbor. I do it every time. I hug, and I give them a good hug, and no one still gives me their number. So I'm trying. I don't go to coffee shops, so I won't meet anybody. I don't go to Barnes & Noble. When I shop in Target, I look homeless. I only order from Walmart, so they bring it to my door. So maybe the issue is me.
No.
But yeah, I just really want to know how you make like genuine good friends. They don't expect nothing from you. They're not asking you for nothing. They're just looking for community, a village, some sort of camaraderie, like a sport without a ball. That's what I'm looking for. And that's the subject that's above me because I haven't figured it out yet. But that's my truth. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you stick around. We'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to let me know your thoughts, opinion, and how you're feeling in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Bye.